This is the Marathon Handbook Podcast, and we are live from Austin, Texas. To my right, the Elon Musk of the pod, Katelyn, Tocci. Katelyn, you're the Elon because you like to launch things into space, and you've got some crazy ideas sometimes.
Okay, all right,
sure.
I'll take it.
And you're our American, so there you go. To my left, the Joe Rogan of this podcast.
Oh, come on, man. Thought you're going to give yourself Joe.
No. I'm either Willie Nelson or Matthew McConaughey. I'm not much sure I'm going to go on this one. I like to think Matthew McConaughey, but I'm feeling more Willie Nelson right about now.
I thought we were going to give Alex Willie Nelson because he has some
No,
on
I'll
the
take
podcast.
Joe. I have a bunch of questions about black holes that I want to ask you
There
guys.
you go. And you want to talk to Donald Trump for 3 hours.
Oh, boy. Yeah, okay. Well,
Okay, let's pivot away from that.
Yeah.
We are live in Austin, Texas. We're all here together for the very first time for something called the running event, which, if you're not familiar with the running event, which many runners aren't, it's sort of this semi-secret meeting of brands, media, and retailers. We converge onto Austin once a year in either late November or early December, and we get to see all of the new shoes that are coming out in the next year. So we get to look into the future and see what's up with everything for the next 12 to 14 months' time. Some of it will be embargoed. Some of it we can talk about in short order. Alex, you're going to be crazy busy for the next 48 hours filming how many first look shoe reviews?
I think we have 16 appointments. My Google Calendar starts at 9 and goes to 6:30, and it's just boom, 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 boom every 30 minutes.
So every major brand, every new shoe that's coming out, you're going to get to look into seeing what they're doing with super shoes, everyday trainers, trail shoes, everything, and also watches and other gear as well. And today's podcast, because we're all about gear at the running event, we're going to talk about the gear of the year for 2024. We're going to be handing out the hardware, our awards, similar to what we did last week with athletes and events and storylines. But this time we're going to talk about best trail shoe, best everyday trainer, indie brand of the year, best watch of the year, and the coveted best shoe of the year. Before we get into that, this is the first time the three of us have been in person together podcasting, and it's super weird.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
It's a little weird to not be looking into the camera and looking at you guys instead.
What did the first thing Katelyn said when she met us last night? Okay, so we all flew in yesterday. We were out having dinner. Katelyn's flight came in later because you're coming from Costa Rica, so you had to
layover and all that fun stuff. Went
Yeah.
through some storms. It was a good time.
And then she's walking up to us for the first time, and the very first thing she says to me is,
You're taller than I thought you would be.
wow.
She thought we were both 5'5".
I did not
We're
say
all gonna
5
be the same height. I love the idea.
The three of us were all going to be my height. That's
Yeah.
what
Well, I guess
that's what
when you
figured.
see us, we're all the same height on the screen. So I don't know. So, yeah.
But if the audience could see us now and see our feet, I actually cannot sit normally because I don't touch the ground here, and you guys are sitting. So I am the shortest one in the group. Yes.
There we go. So, something I never thought about, height. Anyway,
Height.
so we're here together
Yes.
for the first time. Our whole team got together. It's a special week for us.
Yep.
We're all sort of doing a little bit of a team experience for the week, covering TRE, the running event, and hanging out.
It's like our annual staff meeting.
Exactly.
Yeah. Today's Marathon Handbook Day.
Yeah.
We went for a team run this morning, which
Yep.
is super cool. We've got Kosuke, our video producer. He's on the decks today. Shout out to him. The man, the myth, the legend, Amy Burfoot is hanging out off screen right now. We'll pull him in later on and chat with him as well. And of course, our founder Thomas is here as well. So we're all here. We're all hanging out. What are you guys most excited about? Katelyn, what are you most fired up about for the running event? You were here last year.
Yep.
So you didn't know what to expect last year. This
Right.
year, you kind of know the lay of the land. What's the coolest thing about the running event, especially for our audience, for the running nerd? What's the neatest thing about the running event that you're excited about?
I loved being here last year and just checking out all the new products and all the new shoes and kind of getting that inside sneak peek. Even though I'm not a shoe guru such as Alex is and knows much, but I absolutely loved it. I think it's super fun to see the new innovations coming out. But to be honest, I mean, the running event is going to be a super cool event for us, but the thing that I'm most excited about is being together, having the Marathon Handbook team together for the first time, doing this podcast, meeting everyone. It's true. And our relay race and karaoke.
Oh God, you're dropping a big one here. So yeah, tonight we're slated for some karaoke.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we're doing a 4x4. Is it the three of us and Kosuke?
Yeah.
So I'm nervous, man. I haven't done a 400 in a long time.
I saw you guys practice the baton handoff
We
with
did.
the room
Yeah.
key
Yeah.
in our shakeout run this morning.
Yep.
Yeah, it went well. The
It went
room
well.
key did not hit the trail,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah, it went well.
Thankfully, you guys did not then try to transition into handing it off to me because I haven't done a baton. I've done one 4x4 about 12 years ago at a Twilight meet, and then before that it was high school. So this should be interesting.
Everyone knows I'm the tractor of the group, the Aussie Ultra runner.
The
So
tractor.
like I don't want to pick on Katelyn, but I got a little concerned when I said we're going to practice the relay, and you took the key card and you
And I
ran
ran,
off.
I know.
was like, wait, no, you're supposed to come behind.
I'm
we need to
obviously-
talk about the dynamics of the relay here.
yeah, let's talk about the relay race. Explain it to me. It's not the same as an ultra marathon. I've never done this before. It's going to be fun. We'll talk more strategy later.
Yeah, so that's a cool event that On, the Swiss brand, is hosting. I think it's going to be like on the top of like a multi-level parking garage. So it's going to kind of have this like edgy vibe to it. I think that's super neat. And then of course, as you mentioned, New Balance is hosting some sort of karaoke event this evening. So what's the karaoke track? What are you going with?
I think I'm going Superstition with Stevie Wonder. I mean, I've been practicing it for a couple of weeks, so I don't think I can do anything else.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah?
Yep.
What's yours?
No, but ever since Alex mentioned it to me, I thought we were singing a duet. I've been also practicing
Man.
Superstition.
Caitlin is an actual music
No.
major, and she's going to one-up me on my own track.
I love it. A couple pods ago, we learned that Katelyn studied music at like the Berklee School of Music, like essentially the Harvard of music schools. It's like, oh, okay, so she knows what she's doing. And then, yeah, I like the idea that she shows up and just blows you out of the water while you're trying to sing a duet together.
I come in with 1 year of choir experience when I was 6.
It's perfect. It's going to be great.
I'm going with or without you, you two, for sure. I always I'm a child of the early to mid 1990s. I got to go with Bono.
That is my fiance's favorite song. I'll send a video.
That's super weird, and no video, please. The Kosuke and the camera will not be. Kosuke will be coming to the karaoke, but I think we're gonna have to forbid the Marathon Handbook camera to come in with us.
Yes, please.
Maybe some cell phone footage. All right, so let's pivot into the gear of the year. We're gonna talk. Let's talk watches. Let's talk indie brand. Let's talk our own personal favorite gear of 2024. But we'll do that right after a break. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, let's get into the gear of the year. We're going to hand out the awards, the Marathon Handbook Gear of the Year Awards 2024. We've designed a little badge.
Yep.
We've got a badge. We're going to be sending the badges out to the brands. Hopefully they like them. Hopefully they virtually slap them on their shoes and their products. First award that we're handing out today here in Austin, the Best Innovation 2024. Now, innovation, it's a broad category. We've honed it down to 3 finalists. We're not going to do this for every single award, but I feel like we should go through the finalists very briefly because it's like 3 pretty impressive things that were released this year that I think might change the game in running a little bit. First one, I saw it in New York with my very own eyes. We've talked about it before on the pod. It's On, the Swiss brand. It's their robots that they spin shoes like a spider spins a web. It's incredible. I saw it with my own eyes. I met the robot. Didn't get the robot's name.
No?
Didn't get the robot's name.
Okay.
Apparently, it does have a name. There are now 2 robots. This is the American robot, and there's the Swiss robot.
Right.
The American robot is doing a tour. It might be here in Austin. I don't know. We're going to find out. But it's a huge innovation. It's an innovation because they're going to be able to make a really bespoke shoe, not only for the elite athletes like Helen Obiri, who's worn it to win Boston and New York, and finished second in New York and finished third in the Olympics. But sort of the sky's the limit with this sort of innovation with shoes. So that's a big one. Then there's the, how is this pronounced? The Orius headband?
I think so, Orius.
Orius headband?
It's like Orion, like the constellation. Orius, I think.
Orius headband. Now this is a technology that maybe ruined like the single defining moment of certainly the athletics card in the Olympics, the photo, which is the giant thing on the head of both Kipchoge and also in
Hassan.
and Sifan Hassan in the Olympic marathon
Yep.
when she crossed the finish line, winning the Olympic marathon in this glorious performance in Paris. But the tech, which has not been, I think, 100% proven out yet because there's been some conflicting studies, but the tech allegedly brings your body temperature down significantly. It uses graphite. It's kind of gaudy looking. I'm sure they're working on making it sort of more of a toned down look. I think they're also working on other innovations like maybe a vest and other products as well. But if that actually works, someone like me,
Or me.
we're sweaters.
We're sweaters, and I live in a very hot climate, so
We don't handle heat well.
Nope.
I think that's a big deal for a lot of people.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, could bring your performance up, boost it by a couple percentage points.
Yep.
But our big winner for biggest innovation of 2024, Alex, you're very familiar with it. I've got one sitting disassembled in the entranceway to my house right now.
You have one?
Just arrived this week.
Oh my goodness, I can't
Marathon
believe
Handbook
it.
has
Wow.
the Wahoo Kicker Run treadmill. If you're listening to this pod and you've not heard us wax poetically about the Kicker Run before, let's give you a little quick snapshot of what it is and why we think a treadmill is the hugest innovation of 2024. I mean, Alex, why don't you like unpack why you think this is like a game changer?
Can I start with a story?
Please start with the story.
Absolutely.
I terrorized the Holiday Inn Express gym this morning with about 10 minutes of threshold running. On minute 8, the treadmill, which was maxed out, this is my flex for this morning, it was maxed out, stopped. Just like that.
Like dead stop.
Dead stop. I pretty much crashed the front. I had to like stop myself. It I didn't get hurt. It was fine. Now it's a funny story, but also could have been dangerous.
Right.
Yeah.
When you're maxing out a treadmill, that's a risk that you're willing to incur. These treadmills are not meant for really fast workouts. The Wahoo Kicker Run is. Okay, so they have this run-free mode where this is like what I like to tell people. It's like usually when you're on a treadmill, you press buttons and then you respond to the speed.
Right.
The Kicker Run's the opposite, right? It responds to you. So if I go and I start to like run faster, I pick up the pace, I pick up my cadence, the treadmill picks up its speed. And that's consistent up to 4-minute miles. So if I'm running at a 4-minute mile pace, which I got to try for, not the full 4 minutes, but maybe 30 seconds to 45 seconds in Boston, then it keeps up with my speed and I can run at that pace. So it's like a workout thing, right? You can go faster, slower. It's really good for fartleks. And all of this is in there, what's it called, the run-free mode,
Yes.
I think. So you can also use it as a regular treadmill.
Yeah, you can set it to the normal treadmill settings. If you want the belt to just keep running, you can do that as well.
Because it is a bit of a learning curve, right? Like
Yeah.
you're,
I'm sure it is.
You're controlling the treadmill with your foot speed. Like that's a little bit odd at first. So
Yeah.
if you want it as a regular treadmill, you can. And then the other cool thing is it connects to Zwift. So like if you're a cyclist, you're probably familiar with it. It's also big in the running world now. It's like you get a screen, an interactive screen where you have this avatar. It's like running inside of this digital world. You see other people running. It like has hills and stuff, right? Depending on the course that you pick. So the treadmill can go, inclined up to flat and even decline. Makes you feel like you're going faster and slower based
and
on
I think
the
it
hill.
can even shift side to side.
Yeah, it
laterally
has a
little bit.
lateral tilt, which I
Yeah.
thought was really interesting because it's a new feature that I've never seen before. So you
Yeah.
can actually practice like tricky terrain or thinking about lateral. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm training for a half marathon. I have 9 weeks to go. I'm going to train in Canada, and I'm fully expecting to show up at your place, Michael, try this treadmill out and do some hard workouts.
course.
We're gonna set up a studio around it. We're gonna do a bunch of content with it. We're gonna get the cameras going around it. We're gonna have you come over, do a bunch of workouts on it. I'm gonna try a long run or two on it. One thing I'm interested in, like you just mentioned, theoretically, and I think they're working on this, they may already have this set up, paired with Zwift, you could like load in the exact profile using a GPX file of like say the Boston Marathon.
Wow.
And you could go and run the Boston Marathon course on this treadmill, and it will feel really close to what that experience would be. So, I mean, that's like really
That's pretty
specific
cool.
training, especially if you're like us and you live in a snowy environment in the
Yep.
dead of winter, and you're trying to train for an April race like Boston or London, and you want to get a sense of what the feel for that race is like. Plug that course in, and then maybe just you want to do a 20-mile long run. That's like the second, the 20 last miles of the Boston Marathon. You can do that. It's super cool.
That's really cool.
It's amazing. It's sort of like
Yeah.
what we all imagined a treadmill could be like. This is the sort of full realization of that. And final note on this, you guys are going to be on the floor at the running event. I know that Wahoo's going to be there. They're going to have a kicker run.
Oh.
You got to maybe like squirrel away 20 minutes to go by and like jump on the kicker run and flex your 4-minute pace for a minute or so if you can do it.
Or for a mile.
I need to beat my record of 45 seconds. Try to get on for 2 minutes and I'll be happy.
Oh,
Nope.
doubling it. I love it.
That's a 2-minute 800. That's pretty good.
Okay, actually,
You're like, wait a minute,
walk that
hold
back.
on, let's pull it back a little. Let's pull it
Recalculating.
back.
1 minute is good for
Yeah,
me.
yeah. All right, let's move on to the next category here, and that is Best Watch of 2024. Again, the finalists deserve a lot of credit here, but I'll first jump to our big winner, and that is the Garmin Forerunner 265. Now, there's a 965, which is the beast. That's the full-on. That's the premium product. If you've got all the money in the world and you run every day of the week and you're training for a marathon, the 965 is a lot of watch. The 265 is an incredible product at a pretty good price range, and I think it's overall the best watch of the year. Now, I'll give a shout out to the Coros Pace Pro, very good watch as well, and then the one that's near and dear to my heart, and that's on my wrist, and on yours as well, the Apple Watch Ultra 2, which is a great watch as well. So there's our pick, the Garmin Forerunner 265. I think it's just sort of like hits that sweet spot. It's right down the middle. I don't know. I've run with Garmin watches for 15 years now.
Yeah, I love Garmin.
And it's like, if you don't know what to pick, if you're new to running, or you're like been running for maybe 1, 2, 3 years, and you're getting into half marathon, and you're looking for a really nice Christmas gift.
Yeah.
I want to ask Santa, a loved one, to buy you a nice gift. You're gonna wear every day. Garmin 265.
Yeah. It's also one of these watches where you don't really have to make it an extension of your cell phone. There's some settings, right? You can if you want. You don't have to. Sometimes I find the Apple Watches, the Google Pixel, they've come out with the Pixel Watch too. It just feels like an extension of your phone, your laptop. The Garmin kind of feels like you have a life apart from your work life, which is a nice thing. Kind of a head thing, and you can merge everything now.
That's so true, because I feel like I wear my Garmin only to run.
Yep.
I take it off right after the run. I only put it on to work out, and that's funny. I guess there is a big difference between that and an Apple Watch, because you guys probably have those on all day long, notifications and all that kind of stuff.
Sleep with the damn thing
You
on.
do, yeah.
I'm at 14% battery right now, and I'm just a little anxious. I need to get close to a charger.
And actually, this new Forerunner is supposed to have a screen that's trying to make some competition with the Apple Watch, right? That's one of the new features.
It's a beautiful OLED screen.
Yeah.
I've tested the watch out.
Nice.
Put it through the paces. Really great watch.
Yeah.
And I noticed you're not wearing a watch right now. Katelyn's the ultimate self-confident runner flex. Doesn't need to wear a running watch. Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next category here. And this is kind of a fun one, because this is the three of us just getting to take a pause and pick a few items that we like. This is actually a great year-end gift guide thing, like holiday gift guide advice segment as well. What are 3 or 4 items, Katelyn, that you're really impressed by in 2024 that you feel are must-have items for a runner?
Okay, well, as a trail runner, I would say maybe I'm the only one who's going to mention some sort of a pack, a vest. I don't go on any long run without the Ultimate Direction Race Vest 6 is the one I'm using right now. We're probably going to see some great new stuff coming out with Ultimate Direction. at TRE. But it's just like a really nice light pack, but it has enough space for everything. So whether I'm going on, if I'm going for 5 hours, I can still fit everything in I need. Or if I'm going on a short run, it's light enough where it's not going to kind of weigh me down. So I would say that is the vest that I've been using this entire year.
And you got
Loving
that.
it.
You got that here last year.
I got that here at TRE. I went by the Ultimate Direction booth, and they gave one to me, and they said, give this a try, and I haven't taken it off since, in the sense that I haven't used another vest. But I've always been Ultimate Direction vest girl. I've used them for years and years, but this has been, to me, the best one yet. So I would say that's number one. I don't go anywhere without it. Another item, which I think would be a great gift, are the Shock bone conduction headphones.
Right.
I love those. Those are great because I feel like, especially when you're on the trails, you're doing single track, and you're at a race, you really need to be aware of what's going on around you. I mean, on the roads as well, but you really need to be aware of what's going on. And so I like it that they're not, it's like in the ears, they're not like earbuds, so I can be aware of my surroundings. If I'm in a race and someone's, on your left, you hear them, you don't have to shut them off, you don't have to take them out of your ears. Sound familiar?
What? Sorry? I couldn't hear you for the last 5 miles. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you know how headphones are now the universal sign of don't bother me.
Yeah.
Can you bother someone if they're wearing bone conduction headphones?
They can hear you. Well, they should be able to hear you.
So you can be like, excuse
Maybe
me.
bother me?
Maybe bother
Wait a
me.
minute. When I see like Gen Z couples running,
Yeah.
and they're both wearing headphones, are they both saying to each other, "Don't bother me"?
Yeah, it's like, why are you running
Really?
together?
That's so weird.
Yeah.
I don't wear headphones when I'm running with other people.
No, hey.
No, I think that's a hard no.
Like running etiquette line number, like rule number 1: don't wear headphones when you're running with somebody.
Can you imagine if we all got together in the lobby this morning and we were like,
Could have been like those disco parties where we all wear headphones connected to the same phone and we're all listening to the same song.
Those
but
are
it's in
weird.
silence.
Those are weird.
You ever
Yeah.
do one of those?
No.
No, me
What?
neither.
I've just seen it in the movies.
Yeah, I don't think they exist in real
Yeah,
life.
I've only seen that.
If
in
you've
the
ever
movie.
done what we're talking about, like put it in the comments.
Yeah, let us know.
And tell us whether it's actually fun or not. I don't think it's fun. But so that Shocks are one of the sponsors of UTMB, one of the brand sponsors or partners, because everyone was wearing them at that Hong Kong UTMB event that
Oh,
I
they
was
were?
at, the Transatlantic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it might be a rules thing as well. I'm not sure if like in the ear headphones are allowed at a UTMB event, but the Shocks ones are. And it makes sense because it's like for safety reasons,
Yeah,
right?
you have to know what's going on around you, and it's not just that. Even beforehand, when I would wear headphones, when you're in an ultra and you're running for so many hours, you don't want to listen to music the whole time, and so it would be a real pain to have to like take them out, like put them in a pocket in the vest, and then put them back in. And actually, once when I was running a stage race in Costa Rica, I lost an ear, but it literally went, and it was the first 10 minutes of the race, and it was a 3-day stage race, and it just like popped out, went into a mud like swamp, and I was like,
God.
I'm never seeing that again. So these headphones are great because you can just leave them on the whole time. You don't even feel they're on. They're super lightweight, and it's great to listen to music and be aware of what's going on around you.
Ultimate anxiety is AirPod loss.
Yes.
Ultimate anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Besides, the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being eaten by a python on the trail.
Whatever. Losing
water buffalo.
an AirPod. Just ultimate fear. Never happened yet.
Yeah.
And your third.
Okay. Third, I don't know if this would be a great Christmas gift, but it's something that I don't run a long run without, is Chafe Safe.
Come again?
And maybe that's because I'm going to tell you why. I need to explain why. Remember that I live in a place where it's very warm and
Yeah.
it's very humid, and I am a sweater. Okay, this is all oversharing. Michael and I have said a million times we're both very big sweaters. So
Yes.
I'm always running in the heat. I'm always running in the humidity, and so it doesn't matter. Even if it's an hour and a half run, I could have some sort of chafing, with the sports bra chafing, or, on your feet. Like, I just want to be really careful about it. So I use Chafe Safe, which is a KT product. And I've used squirrel nut butter. I've used Body Glide.
Alex and I, if you're just listening
I
to the
know.
pod and not watching us on YouTube, Alex and I just gave each other this look like, what's that? What's squirrel nut?
creative.
Squirrel nut butter?
Squirrel nut butter. Have you not tried it?
No.
And this
Sounds
has been-
tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been the best one that I've used so far. That it's just like it comes on this like deodorant stick, and it's super easy to use, and never have chafed again. So that's why I'm sticking with it.
Mm.
So I think those are like, if I think about 3 things that I always have with me on trail, long run, or a race, it's going to be those 3 things. Can't go without them.
Good stocking stuffer, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
That's true.
Like a little, put one in there. That's
Yeah.
good. I've never tried the KT version. Body Glide.
Or squirrel nut butter.
Or Squirrel Nut Butter, which is like a cool name, so I'm
Yeah.
tempted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
how do you wrestle? What is it? You wrestle the nuts away from the squirrel, and you got to churn the butter. It must be expensive.
Those pro squirrels.
Yeah.
All right, Alex, what do you got? What are your must-have items from this year?
I kind of went Katelyn's way. It's like big items, small items, because that's Christmas, right? Like
Yeah.
you get stocking stuffer. Sometimes you want to buy something a little bit more meaty for someone, a special one. So I'll start with maybe my mid-sized item in terms of price. So they're tights. They're the Nike Aero Swift tights. You might have seen them around. I think they come in 2 colorways. So like one is just like the black tights. They're harder to pinpoint. But the other colorway, I call it barcode. It looks like a barcode. It's like white
yes.
and gray.
Yes.
They look a little bit gaudy.
They're a little loud.
They're a little loud.
Yeah.
And that's the type I have, actually. But the
They're a
black
half
ones,
tight or a full tight?
both. So I have the black half tights and also the barcode full tights.
Yeah.
Like if you're shopping for someone who might not have as loud a fashion sense, not that I have that loud a fashion sense, maybe get the black versions. What I like about them is that they're warm. So I'm like a 1-layer guy, like, and when I run in the winter, sometimes one pair of tights doesn't do enough to keep everything warm down there.
You don't go undies underneath?
I don't. I don't
me
like the
neither.
feeling.
Me
I don't like
neither.
the feeling, and
Speaking
I know a
of
lot of
chafing.
people do that.
Chafing. You're just setting yourself up to chafe.
Yes.
You have those layers.
Yes, exactly. And so I don't, it's most of just a feeling thing. I don't like. If you're in Canada, if you're somewhere's cold, you probably want at least a tight that's a little bit thicker. Those Aeroswift ones are really nice. They're ribbed, so just less air goes in. And they're, good tights now cost over $100 routinely, so these aren't necessarily cheap, but also I think they're a good bang for your buck, and they last a long time. I've had those for more than a year.
Nothing says I love you like giving your loved one a pair of tights for Christmas.
Ribbed.
But that's actually a pretty nice gift when you think about it, because it's something you don't want to spend for your. You're like, I don't
Yeah.
want to spend $150 on a pair of tights. When someone gives them to you, you're just like, these are awesome.
Like,
Thank
these
you
are
very
great.
much. And my guy, we've got to have a little conversation about the relay we're running tomorrow night,
Oh boy.
our wardrobe choices.
Okay.
In my pack, which I have saved and not running yet, are the Nike Aeroswift half tights.
Oh, amazing. I should have brought mine. I
Could have
love
been
mine.
matchy smatchy.
Yeah, we could have been.
I don't
wait,
have
what?
fancy tights, but I have tights.
Okay.
Tights.
Are we going tights?
I'm going split shorts.
Short. I'm going half.
Okay.
I'm going
I
half
usually go in
tights.
shorts.
Kosuke
Going
might have
half
mentioned that he could run as fast as a 58, and I'm not about
58
to,
second,
58
400.
second
You're
400.
putting pressure
yeah.
on you, Cus.
And I'm not gonna get.
Did you
one
say
up
56? I heard 56 for
48.
Kosuke. Okay, I'm gonna do an 80.
I'm going with Michael. I'm gonna do my best to get an 80.
Tune in next week to find out whether or not Katelyn beat me in a 400 in the 4x400 relay.
And guess how many hamstrings will be pulled at the end of this show?
The under over is set at 1.5 right now.
Well,
So
I hope I'm not the half or
Yeah.
the one. So that's my one. My number 2 is these things called toe socks. I don't have the right name. They're toe socks by Injinji. This brand
them.
making these Injinji socks.
Yep.
Now, Michael noticed yesterday, made a comment about this, that I am not really a socks guy. I showed up to our run in these like big, thick cotton socks. And
dude was rocking
What?
like Costco like crew white cotton socks.
Alex, you're an elite athlete.
apparently not. But I was never that thoughtful about my socks. When
Okay.
I race, I will wear the synthetic, whatever. But in regular easy runs, I just kind of wear whatever I can find.
Okay.
I used to have a problem, and that was that my big toe and my second toe on my left foot would rub together
Yep.
and sometimes cause blisters. The Injinji toe socks have
Yeah.
been pretty good for that.
Yeah.
Not only are they
separated.
yeah,
Yep.
they're toe separators, right? So it takes a while to put them on. You gotta like kind of
Yeah, it really does,
shimmy
yeah.
each toe in every little block. Then you feel like you're a little extra and you're keeping your friends waiting. But it got rid of that, and also
Yep.
I feel, and this is not a supported claim or anything, but I just feel like it's better for your foot to have your toes separated instead of crunched up when you're striking.
A little bit more of a foot splay there.
Yeah.
A teeny bit.
Yeah.
Less
So-
toe jam.
Yep.
I see where you're going with
Also
this.
true. Mhm.
Yeah. Although lots of toe lint.
Lots of toe lint.
Lots and lots of lint.
Yeah, have a good drying machine. Also,
I don't have the patience to put a sock on each toe.
And when you take them off, you take them off from the toe and just pull them off, because if not, then turning them inside out again when you wash them, what a pain. So that's the trick. You got to pull them off from the front of the toe.
Yes, it's a very high maintenance sock.
It is.
But it's been worth it. It's not overly expensive. It's a good gift. And my third one, and I won't go long on this one, running jackets are important in Canada.
Yep.
My favorite one is the On Climate jacket. There are a ton of different shell type jackets, and you could get one from any brand that does the trick. This one is a little bit more insulated. It's kind of a running bubble jacket that's not ridiculously big and bulky at all, but it's kind of like these Aeroswifts. They have a little bit more to them to keep you warm on cold days, and they still feel light. So,
fun fact, guys, when I first started running again in my 20s, after like a few years off in my late teens, early 20s, my mid 20s, I started running again after university was over. I was living in Montreal. It was the middle of the winter. It was like minus 30 Celsius or something like that. And my very first running jacket was like a Helly Hansen 900 fill down jacket.
Oof.
I just ran in a winter jacket.
oof.
Speaking of puffy jackets.
Wow.
So there you go. It was a steep learning curve.
Yeah.
It worked though. All right, you got one more. You got one more there on the list, I see.
Those are my three because it was the bone conduction headphones. And
Oh,
so
you got canceled out. So you like the Sunto
Oh.
ones. You have a Sunto pair. Is that what it
I
says?
have a Sunto pair. I really like them. The Shocks and the Suntos are very comparable.
Okay.
I just got into that game in the
Yeah.
last year, so I won't go over. It's kind of for the same reasons.
Same,
But
okay.
bone conduction's good, especially if you're in a city.
So on that note, here are mine. I also went headphones as well. Headphones are a nice gift because again, pricey thing that kind of a pain in the ass for you to spend your own money on. You're like $200 or whatever. I love the AirPods Pro. I'm an Apple guy. I'm trapped within the Apple ecosystem. They just released a new pair of the AirPods, the new model in the last, I'd say, 2 months or so. So we're in the buy now window for that product, and they're really good. It's a mature product. I think since the iPhone, it might be the single best invention. I think that like product invention that Apple's come out with since the iPhone.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's maybe a hot take. I don't know.
No,
but
I agree with you.
Yeah. So that's a good gift. If you've got a loved one who's all about that Apple product, I think the AirPods Pro are a good move. And also it's got that transparency mode, so you can hear everything around you, and you're not going to get run over by a car at an intersection because you can hear what's going on in the world around you.
But
So
also, if you want the noise canceling, noise canceling is very good.
Yeah.
if you're running with your loved one and you just want them to know that you really don't give a shit about them and you just want to tune them out, you just put on the full noise cancellation. Yeah.
Works like a charm.
My next one is the speaking of half types, Lululemon Fast and Free 8-inch half type. I wore them for my my failed ultra in Hong Kong, but they were not the reason why I failed, and they did really well. And I've worn them for like the big all day, all night trail excursion I did last summer. I wore them 16 hours in those things, and they were great. They're just super comfortable. The material is amazing. Say what you will about Lululemon as a brand. They're kind of a weird brand. I don't want to go down that road. Just a weird vibe to that brand sometimes. God damn it, their products are good.
Yes.
Really comfortable stuff, right? Really nice stuff.
And they've got these nice side pockets for gels or your phone, or you want to take your sunglasses on or off, or put them on later on. You can slide them into the side, and you don't really feel anything jiggling or moving back and forth. I believe there's a back pocket as well, so they're like pretty modular. Another one is another apparel product, also kind of expensive, but a really nice product, is the Arc'teryx Norvan Gore-Tex running shell, trail running shell.
Yeah.
I've had one for years. I met the woman who invented the product, who designed it in Vancouver at their headquarters several years ago, and she like walked me through making like the prototype for it. Super cool. It's always neat to meet the person who made the thing. And it's just the best running jacket. It can handle rain, can handle winter conditions. It's pretty good when it's sort of warm because it's got that permeable one-way Gore-Tex product. The last one, you said nobody else was going to mention a vest.
I did.
Yes, you did.
I was wrong.
Solomon
Oh.
S-Lab vest.
Solomon versus Ultimate Direction.
I think we're at a place here where both of those products are really, really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And I happened to go with the Solomon vest recently.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't notice it the entire time.
That's a good sign.
Definitely will wear it for long haul experiences. It's got all kinds of little pockets. It's got a space for a bladder in the back, but you don't have to pack the bladder in the back, and it's not bulky. Like if you take the bladder out, it doesn't feel like you've got this big cavity that you've not filled in the back as well. I just really liked it. It's got this nice cinching system, very comfortable. Those are my picks.
Nice.
All right, guys, we'll take a quick break, and then we're going to get into indie brand of 2024. Very interesting brand. Can't wait to talk about. We'll be right back. Let's continue giving out some awards. Let's start with Indie Brand of the Year. That's separate from overall Brand of the Year because we thought we'd give the little guys a chance here, not to be overshadowed by the big mega running brands that we know and love. So, quick shout out to the finalists here. Normal, trail running brand. Kilian Jornet, the goat of trail running, came out with his own brand. They make really nice stuff, really interesting shoes. We'll talk about them maybe a little bit. The trail, best trail shoe of the year later on. Another trail running brand, Norda, near and dear to our heart. Canada,
Okay, yeah.
Quebecois brand.
Yep.
They do these like very high-end, pretty pricey
They are.
trail shoes and trail apparel as well. But a really nice brand. And it's cool that they're out there and they're doing neat stuff.
And they last a long time.
They last a long time.
Yeah.
Ciel Athletics. The name that I think most runners struggle with worldwide. Sealy?
I've heard CLA.
Ciele? It's
CL.
Ciel,
Ciel.
right?
Yeah.
It's like
Sky in
sky,
French.
ceiling, roof. Yeah. Ciel Athletics. Another Montreal-based brand, another Canadian brand. They're like this iconic brand. Like you see like the Ciel 5-panel hat is sort of like, you're going to like do the avatar of like modern runner, like they have to be wearing the Ciel hat. Tracksmith, the LeBron James of indie brands.
Did
It's
you
like,
ever get that watch?
No, I didn't. The Tracksmith
That's a
watch, which we
mortgage to
can't.
pay,
Yeah,
man. Come on.
exactly. The $1,000 running watch
Yeah.
that doesn't do anything
That wasn't
for
a running
runners.
watch,
yeah.
yeah.
But give them credit. They're trying stuff. You know, they're throwing stuff at the
No.
wall, seeing what sticks,
And
right?
what a nice looking watch it was.
It was a very nice watch.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to gift me the watch,
Could be a good Christmas
I'd wear
gift.
the watch.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And they also came out with the super shoe, which is like TBD whether or not that's good. TBD whether or not it's ever going to be
okay.
out widely available. I don't even know if it is widely available.
I don't think it is yet.
Yeah.
And we had a talk with one of the product engineers in Tracksmith, and we left this place. This was during the Boston Marathon weekend. We left our conversation with the vibe that Tracksmith had big things in the works.
Yes.
And so 2025, you'll see.
But
We'll
like
see.
LeBron gets the MVP nomination every year, but doesn't win every year. The indie brand of the year 2024 is Mount to Coast, an ultra brand, but not a trail brand, not yet at least. Ultra road shoes,
Yep.
super weird. Hong Kong-based brand, and they have sort of come onto the scene kind of out of nowhere, Alex. We've been getting their shoes in for testing. They've been very good to like make sure that we had the product right away. They've got 3 shoes right now. They got the R1, the S1, and the P1, I believe.
Yep.
And I just think it's like a really fully formed product, even though ostensibly it's for a very, very tiny, like the tiniest audience in running. The ultra runner that runs weirdo road ultras. Like how many road ultras are there?
Like 100K on a track.
Yeah.
Those kind of races
Yeah.
that there are. They
But
do
I
exist.
I see the pivot already. This
Yeah.
is the Hoka pivot. This is we're starting off doing a very specific thing in a very tiny market, building up a reputation for doing that really well. And then we're going to open things up to the bigger, badder world of road running, trail running, like just the bigger market. And their shoes are really nice. And I have run the heck out of the S1 I love the R1 so much I don't want to wear it because it's so pretty. Like I want to wear it walking around. I think I wore it to like a semi-formal type event, like
they match. They're like all white shoes. They're very, very sleek.
Yeah, just like all the little design details are really nice. Anyway, they're the indie brand of the year for us. Really interesting brand. Looking forward to seeing what they've got coming up next. Just very impressed by what they've done thus far. Let's go into the next one.
Trail running shoe of the year?
Trail running shoe of the year.
Okay, and I am excited to talk about the trail running shoe of the year because it is a brand that has surprised me so much this year.
Really?
It is. And I just have, it was a decade ago that I used this brand and hadn't used them in about 10 years. And this year I have almost exclusively run in North Face. And yes, and I am loving, I was using the North Face Alta Mesas, the 300s, the 500s, love them, super comfortable. And so the trail running shoe of the year, we're going to give it to the Vective Pro 2 by the North Face. So this is now the trail running scene has also gone into the carbon plate super shoe, which is very exciting. And so there are a bunch of different, I think it's interesting to think about that it needs to be more of a flexible carbon plate than what you're used to on the road because we need to deal with terrain. And so this Vective Pro has a forked carbon plate within the shoe. So it allows for a little bit of flexibility. So you're getting the responsiveness that you want with a little bit of flexibility for tougher terrain. And so I think that that's exciting with not so much foam that you feel unstable on the trails, but also enough where it's a very comfortable shoe. And I think the North Face this year has done comfort to the max. So I would like to award that award to the North Face this year.
Alex, you're our shoe expert here, and you're going to sort of lead the way with the rest of these picks for our shoes. I've never really given this a lot of thought, but it's true, like building a super shoe for the trail is a huge engineering feat. And I think, in fact, I know, guys, the Vective 3 might be under an embargo. We can't talk much about it, but I think we're going to be getting pairs like today or tomorrow. So,
oh my goodness.
So I've been talking to our friends at North Face, and they're going to make sure they're going to get us that shoe. Should give a quick shout out to the normal. How do you pronounce? What's the name of this shoe?
Caboix.
K-Biox 01. Really neat shoe. It's like got this like modular modular insole, midsole. So you can go like race or everyday. Kind of a clever idea. Pretty pricey shoe, but I think it's kind of two shoes in one. Really cool shoe. You've also got another North Face shoe there as well listed. The Alta Mesa, which you mentioned.
Yep, which I love.
And then Hoka as well. You can't have a best trail shoe
without mentioning
category
Hoka.
without Hoka.
Of course. The Mafate has been a good one out there. Yeah.
All right, Alex. It's your time.
It's my time.
It's your time to shine.
Okay.
Best everyday trainer. Let's
Best
talk
everyday
about it.
trainer. Okay, so we're talking shoes. Now, I feel like to start with a trainer, we need to back it up a tiny bit. So unless you're just getting into running now, you probably know this, so I'll try to be brief. There's been a big shift in the world of running shoes over the last few years. One, many training shoes, not only racing shoes, but training shoes have carbon plates in them.
Yeah.
And also the foam that companies use now for training and workout shoes are much better than the foams of even 10 years ago. They're lighter, they're more responsive, and oftentimes they're also bigger in size. We saw that type of innovation first in racing shoes, then in workout shoes, which we'll get to in a sec. This year, I think the defining characteristic of like shoe technology is that new tech has really permeated the world of training shoes, which means that the training shoes of old, the Asics Nimbus, the Brooks Ghost, are still fine shoes, but they're not the best training shoes for everyday trainers if you want a little bit of pop on your everyday runs anymore. And so now, when we're picking our best training shoes, we're looking a little bit outside the box. So these are not the shoes that you might be used to. I struggle to pick a winner. What's the best daily trainer? Because how do you evaluate it? Do you go by history? Do you pick the Nimbus again? Do you pick the Ghost again? Or do you go something a little bit elevated? And that's the way that I went. I picked the flagship training shoe of a brand that I beat down all year. So it's a brand that's dear to my heart. It's a brand that I wore all through college, always loved their shoes, and I felt that in the last few years, because of this shift, they were being left behind a little bit. And same thing was happening this year. They released a big super trainer. They released a big, like a huge looking racing shoe that I wasn't really into. And I thought, wow, they missed the mark again this year. And then they released the best training shoe on the planet, in my opinion, so far. And I'm talking about...
Tell us what it is.
What's the shoe?
the New Balance 1080 V14. To me, that's the best training shoe. And this is why. Many brands have made their training shoes bigger. And while that makes them comfortable, it makes them also awkward feeling. Like they have this nice landing feeling. You're not using your joints so much. You might feel good the next day, but at the same time, you feel a little bit unstable. New Balance seems to have cracked a code. They took their Fresh Foam X, which is like the foam that they've used for many years. They've made it denser. They've compacted it inside of a midsole to make the shoe really nice and durable and bouncy, but also you don't feel like you're unstable when you're running on it. So I've always liked the 1080 series. I think the 1080 V13, so the one from last year, was a great shoe. This was elevated even once more. So that's my shoe of the year.
I'm taking notes.
The ones you love the most, your hardest on? Is that the lesson the New Balance can take away from this? You were cruel to them all year long, but in the end, they've proven themselves to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have a high expectation, right? Because I've always loved New Balance, and it's not that I think their product got worse, not at all. It's just I think a lot of other brands caught up, and with the 1080 was just better. It was a step up.
Quick shout out to the other everyday trainers that your finalists.
Yeah, finalists. I had the Asics Nova Blast
Love
5.
those. Yeah.
Just came out. If you haven't had the chance to try them. They're big and they're light. They seem to defy gravity in that sense. The Hoka Skyflow, which is a Hoka shoe that doesn't feel quite like a Hoka shoe. It's a little bit harder.
On that recently.
We did a video on that. It's a bit harder in the midsole,
Okay.
and so provides a little bit more bounce than your regular Clifton. And then the Brooks Glycerin Max, which is kind of like what I was talking about. It's a training shoe that looks more like a workout shoe. It has a whole lot of foam underneath. But the thing is, you don't feel unstable when you're running on it. This one's already divisive. Some people don't like the Max and how it feels.
It's been my daily driver for the last month or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ever since you slid one of the extra Marathon Handbook pairs over to me, and I'm pleasantly surprised by it. It's like my big surprise shoe of the year. I like running in it. And I think it's been really good actually post-marathon as well for those just easy light runs where you just want something substantial underfoot that feels really comfortable but also you don't feel sluggish in either. So I like that shoe a lot.
Brooks really knows comfort, right?
Yeah,
They're always-
they do.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one, which is best new shoe.
Best new shoe. We talked about two of these shoes already, so I'll go quick for my 3 and my 2. Okay. So
Okay.
the Vective Pro 2 is number 3. Just signals a whole lot of innovation in the trail scene, which is cool. 2, I was going to give it to Mount to Coast R1 because not only is it a good shoe for a very niche pursuit, it's a good everyday shoe. And I mean, I feel like a shoe needs to have that to really jump into the mainstream here.
You like a lighter, simple, and also very pretty looking shoe.
Yeah.
If you like a white shoe, I mean, they know they make a black version as well. It's a nice shoe.
It's durable. Very,
Yes.
very durable shoe. So cool new shoe, but we need to give this, we'd be remiss not to give it to the On Cloud Boom Strike LS, a name that I'm still wrapping my head around. Listen, I don't know if that's the future or if it's a weird one-off, but it's hella impressive.
It is.
And I still haven't tried it. You might have tried them on.
I have had them on my feet, and I've done a little jog in Manhattan wearing them. Legit super shoe. Feels really good. I don't like things feeling like really restrictive and close to my body. This shoe did not create it's tricky to get on.
Yeah.
And I actually, we're going to have a video about the whole process of how the shoe is made and a little bit behind the shoe coming out soon. But I took a video of myself trying to get the shoe on my foot because there's like a learning curve to putting the shoe on.
It's like in Gingy socks.
It's like in Gingy socks, exactly. There are no laces. It's a slipper,
Okay.
and it forms to your foot. And I was worried that because there's like kind of a generic mold that it's the last thing they designed the shoe for around. That it's because right now it's generic. Unless you're Helen O'Beary and you're winning the Boston Marathon in it, they're not going to design it to your foot specifically yet. But I was worried that it would sort of there'd be hot spots and cold spots on it. It actually felt really good on my foot, and like underfoot, the outsole, midsole, it's got pop. It's a fast shoe.
Yeah.
It's a light shoe. It's a fast shoe.
Nice.
It's an amazing shoe. We're gonna get a pair for testing. Don't you worry, Alex. On are gonna take care of us. They're gonna send us a pair for testing in short order. But yes, that is like I think easily the best new shoe of the year, the most fascinating shoe, maybe the future of shoes. We'll see, right?
We need a crossover event where you run a 10K, but you also have to put on a pair of Injinji socks and then
And
a
then
pair
the
of
shoes.
those on shoes and run the 10K, then take them off. It's like, how quick can you do
It's
both?
like a transition, like a triathlon transition.
That's it.
See
Yes.
how long
That's
it
it.
takes.
That sounds like a terribly strange event.
Very stressful.
Yes, indeed.
So that's new shoe. We get to move on?
Let's go into best super trainer.
All
Take
right.
it away.
Okay, best super trainer. So if you followed our videos, you know I'm super bullish on one particular pair of training shoes. They're the one pair of running shoes that I have here. They're the one pair I used to max out that darn treadmill this morning. The Asics Super Blast 2.
You were wearing those on your feet this morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They're my shoes. I can This is why I like them. Okay, they're the most versatile shoe in the game. Super trainer, quick backup, is the shoe you wear in workouts, right? You want it to have some muscle. You want it to have some pop, and you also want it to last a long time because let's face it, you're doing a workout. If you're training for a half or a full marathon, you're probably putting 15, 20 kilometers, maybe even more on those shoes per session. So you don't want a pair of shoes that are going to flame out after 200 kilometers. The Super Blasts are that. They're very durable. They have some muscle. They have I need to look at this because Asics, their foam types they all sound the same. It has a combination of FF Blast Plus foam, which is like the training foam. It's not in their racing shoe,
Okay.
but it's very light and bouncy. It's like a
Okay.
super critical foam that you have in your super trainers. And then also it has a little bit of that like more popping foam. So both, okay? It's got some good bounce, some good durability. You land on it, you feel good, but also has some pop. So long story short, how do I use them? I can take them out on easy runs and not feel awkward. I can go and wear them on like a long threshold run and I feel like they're quick enough on my feet and they last me a long time. And then on top of that, they're just super comfortable shoes. It's like you're wearing a Nimbus. Like if you've worn an Asics Nimbus and you feel they're super comfortable, the problem with the Nimbus is you just don't have that extra gear. The Super Blast has that extra gear. And so it's been my favorite shoe of the year and it's my favorite super shoe.
It's the Porsche Panamera of
Yeah.
running shoes.
Yeah, there you go.
The four-door Porsche, the sedan,
Yep.
the family Porsche.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Super
now you're going to
sexy.
try them out in a 400 relay.
Yes, and also I will be wearing those in the 400 meters.
Okay.
Yeah, and just try to hang on to Kosuke's
That's no
48
fair. I
second.
didn't know you were bringing like a semi-fast shoe for
I
running
do
a
not have one.
I
I do not have one.
brought
A fast shoe.
Nike Pegasus.
Yeah.
I'm
They're
like,
my shoe for everything.
oh.
They're my shoe for walking down to get breakfast in the morning.
So the plan is to stalk the floor at the running event tomorrow and
Yep.
find the fastest
The-
pair of
the
super shoes
fastest
that we
shoe.
can be comped, and then we'll race in those.
Yep.
See, I believe in the super. I'm not even going to engage in this game. I'm going to stick the Super Blast.
I like it.
You
Yes.
do that, Alex.
Yes.
Michael
Now,
and I will be on the hunt.
Every
Please.
second counts.
Yeah.
I challenge you. Now, I'm just going to throw down a couple the nominees. Shout out to the nominees. The On Cloud Monster Hyper. This deserves a mention because On did something kind of weird for this era in this shoe. So it was the Cloud Monster had two iterations before, the 1 and the 2. It was a shoe with On's Helion supercritical foam,
Yeah.
which is a foam they have in their racing shoes, but also with a plastic speed board. So not carbon, but plastic, but serves the same purpose. It's a really hard platform to bounce off of. The issue with the Cloud Monster 1 and 2 were that they were a little bit heavy, okay? To amend that, On took out the speed board, which like we don't hear of anymore. We don't hear much of really.
Right.
Companies usually put carbon plates or put fast plates into shoes. On took it out, and I wonder if that is a little bit part of the future, is just creating foams that are so good and bouncy that you don't need the more heavy type
plate
of
as well.
carbon or plastic plate.
Okay.
Less about the plate, more about the foam, which was sort of the thing at the after the first onset of super shoes. Was like, wait a minute, it's that Zoom X foam in the Nike shoe that is having a bigger impact than the actual plate itself, or it's
Yeah.
like in combination with the plate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with the super trainers as well. Not surprising. All right, so
Yeah. And also, Asics Magic Speed V4 was a final candidate. Just really fast, aggressive shoe, and same thing for the Hoka Mach X2. Huge rock forward profile, very, very aggressive of a workout shoe. So these are my top 2. They're hard to easy run in, both of them. So that's why I didn't pick them at the end.
So let's get into the big awards here.
Woo.
Best super shoe of 2024.
Yep.
This is a big responsibility, Alex.
I struggled.
It really.
You struggled.
I struggled.
It is a struggle. The playing field's really level with these shoes now.
Yeah. And I think I made the right pick, but I think people will hear it and not agree with me eventually.
Okay.
So I will try to sway you.
I just opened the ballot here, the virtual ballot. Looked at our Google Doc. I did not know that you picked the shoe, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So let me start. With 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Okay.
I'll end at 1.
Okay.
Okay. Number 4, I picked the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite 3.
Puma had a good year.
For ubiquity, man.
Yeah.
These shoes are everywhere. So a stat from the New York City Marathon, 7 of the top 20 finishers, so top 10 men, top 10 women, were wearing this running shoe.
Yes.
And what's weird about it is, like, you try to explain what's special about this shoe, and it's not that it has a huge X factor. It does a lot of things pretty well. So it's light, right? It's under 7 ounces, which is still pretty rare in a super shoe. And also, it has this foam that is kind of similar to what Brooks has. It's like DNA or nitrogen-infused super foam.
Yes.
Right? And obviously a carbon plate. So I don't think it's that innovative in any way. People seem to really like it. I've tried it on. It's a comfortable shoe, and it does the job. And I think Puma showed that it can compete with the big guns. So that deserves my number 4.
Okay.
Number 3, Nike Alpha Fly 3. Again,
I've heard of this shoe.
You, really?
Yes.
Caitlin, I know you're the trails. Have you ever heard of?
I have
The
heard
Alpha-
of them.
the Alpha
Yeah.
Fly.
I've tried them on.
Some people have run fast in these shoes,
Some
right?
people have.
I
Yes.
think it.
See, it's same thing. Very ubiquitous shoe. A lot of people like it. It's. I describe it as like the most powerful shoe. It's like. I was gonna say it's like the Mike Tyson, but maybe I can't make that reference anymore.
It's like the Mike Tyson of 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
Of 30 years
It's
ago.
not the Jake Paul of.
It will
of
never be the
super
Jake
shoes.
Paul.
No.
It's a powerful shoe. It
Yep.
bounces. It's got these little energy pods, these Zoom pods at the bottom. It's got this huge slab of ZoomX foam. It's got a lot of carbon. It is a like you could drop it and you feel like it would bounce off the ground like a basketball. Because of that, it's a little bit on the heavy side compared to, like, it's heavier than the Puma shoe, for example.
Right.
Okay.
And so I still think Nike's got some innovation to do. I'm very, very curious to see where Nike takes their innovation in the next year. I think we're going to see something crazy. I don't know anything, but I just have this feeling. I have this feeling because of the number 2 shoe that I'm going to mention here.
Okay.
There's a caveat here. So my number 2 is the Adidas Adios Pro Evo 1. It's the best shoe in the world. I couldn't give it the win because it came out in 2023.
Right.
So
Oh, that's what you did here. I was
I
wondering.
see.
yes.
Okay.
So in fact, you
Okay.
might argue that it doesn't belong on the list at all. I needed to give it a mention because
It's been around. It's just sort of still kicking ass, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we saw it first in the fall of 2023. It was on the feet of Tigist Assefa. She broke the women's world record, then world record in the marathon, ran at
Yes.
2:11. It's an amazing shoe. It's the best shoe in the world. It's the shoe that I wear on runs because I bought it and it was way too expensive, and I used it to replace the shoe that I think is the actual shoe of the year of 2024. I'm giving it to the Asics Metaspeed Paris.
I mean,
am-
Asics is your brand.
I am
You love
appalled.
Asics.
You're appalled.
I'm not.
Are you Jake appalled?
Is that a saying? I'm surprised. I'm impressed. I feel like Alex is. We've seen some growth here. He's not young, naive, and arrogant anymore. We're watching him blossom into a fully grown adult
Wait,
podcast.
what are you talking about? Just what is happening?
But I've heard Alex mention Asics all over the board. He loves the brand.
Yeah, no.
So
You're,
I actually wasn't too
that's a good. I
surprised.
think that's a good, solid, even
Yeah.
keel pick.
Yeah.
It's a great shoe. I thought you'd sort of abandon the shoe. I thought you were like looking for something more of that shoe because you ran in it quite a bit. You ran quite a few races in it
Yep.
early in your season, and then you got swayed by this like red hot Ferrari Adidas Evo But
yeah, because it's the better shoe. The Evo is still the best shoe in the world. I couldn't get my hands on it. That's why I settled. I settled for the Metaspeed. It's not as good as the Adidas, but the Pro Evo 1 didn't come out this year. I can't pick it.
And
so
the Metaspeed is available. You can get the
You can
people
actually
listening to this pod.
it's
actually
can
a
actually buy
useful
the shoe.
tip. Go find the Metaspeed Paris, and I'll give this last thing, and this is why I picked it. I think this shoe as well, somewhat like the Cloud Monster Hyper is indicative of a future trend. I think the Metaspeed Paris is also indicative of a future trend, which is brands finding a way to take all the power of a big, bulky super shoe and compacting it in a smaller package.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're going to want super shoes that are lighter.
Yeah.
And the Metaspeed Paris is a start to that. It's well under 7 ounces. It feels light on the feet. It feels like an old racing flat and not like a big spaceship. And I like that more. There's a bit of personal variability in that. Some people love the big bulkiness of an Alpha Fly 3, but the Metaspeed Paris. You do.
I ran Chicago in the Alpha Fly 3, and I wasn't actually expecting much, and I genuinely enjoyed them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. I like a bit smaller. And the issue with smaller shoes was that it didn't quite have the bounce of other bigger ones, but the Metaspeed Paris did. So that's my winner.
All right.
All right, and on that, let's take a quick break, and then final segment of the show, we're going to go through brand of the year, shoe of the year, and I think we're going to be getting into a couple of debates about that because got some contentious picks coming right up after this break. Be right back. The last two big awards, 2024, the Marathon Handbook Brand of the Year Award, and then we'll do the Shoe of the Year after that. Brand of the Year. This is tough.
That was tough.
This is tough.
That was tough. It's like, how do you define the brand of the year? Is it one product? Is it a consistency across different types of shoes, gear?
Innovation.
We're gonna We're gonna debate this.
Is the family gonna argue?
The family has to argue.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys know how much I hate conflict.
It's like, no, please no conflict.
Again, I feel like I say that every podcast, guys.
Can't we just all agree? I honestly do not know who my pick would be with our 4 finalists. I'm even like nervous that we've like just missed something massive, but we've given this a lot of thought.
Yeah.
Let's go through the nominees first.
Okay.
So we're Oscars styles. We're gonna
Okay.
go through the nominees and there's gonna be like we'll do the little like 4-box with like, you know, the first nominee, Asics, and then we'll have the what's the scene? What's to continue with the Academy Awards, the movie analogy? What's the snapshot of like what Asics has done in 2024 that gives it a nomination?
So Asics, that is our first nominee. We're calling it for creating a perfect shoe for every situation, right? That's what we give to them.
That's good.
They have
Yep.
the Asics Nimbus, which has always been a mainstay. Their Nova Blast series that they've developed over the last few years. It's an excellent training shoe.
Yep.
They didn't have to have another training shoe line. The Nimbus and the Cumulus did just fine, but the Nova Blasts are awesome.
Yeah.
Then, as we mentioned, the Super Blast, terrific super trainer. The Magic Speed 4, another great super trainer for workouts that require a bit more speed and less durability.
I like that they came up with that shoe. Yeah.
They're kind of counterparts.
It's like a shoe for me. I like that shoe.
For people who need speed.
Desperately.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the Metaspeed for racing. Good shoes for every situation. So Asics is our number 1. Number 2,
Yes. The next.
Block. I don't know what your vision is
Nominee
here, man.
number
I,
I think with On, it's like one killer scene. It's like Meryl Streep just going crazy for 30 seconds, and then everyone's just like, it cuts to the audience, and Denzel's just like, shit, that was good. That was good. So On, we've talked about it already.
for balancing innovation with performance.
Yes.
Yep.
Number 3, Adidas for making the best shoe in the world.
That's a good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Again,
one hand.
That's up there. Yeah.
it's
I like
one hand. Yeah, they didn't make it in 2024, but it's still the best shoe in the world, and so they deserve to be
it.
nominated.
So why change perfection?
Why change perfection?
And we should say, It's not clear if their super duper shoe, the Pro Evo, if they have a 1 or a 1.5 or a 2 out now. It's not clear because the damn things all look the same. So it's hard to tell. They might have a second iteration out now. It's not really been clarified.
Yeah.
But they've made the fastest, greatest shoe in the world. Don't know what else they're doing with the shoes. It's kind of all over the place. The Boston, I personally like. A lot of people don't like it.
I don't like it.
The Supernova, really nice for a short, like a 5K easy run, but you start running more. I've done a long run in them. I don't think there's enough underfoot in the Supernova. So yeah. And then what's our final nominee?
Number 4 is Puma
Yeah.
for pouncing onto the elite distance running
look
scene.
what he
Good
did
one.
there.
Yeah, I like that. That was a good one.
Nice work. Okay, guys. Got the nominees.
Yep.
Asics, On Running, Adidas, Puma. Katelyn, who do you got?
Okay. I love that Puma's back in the scene.
Yes.
That is in the scene. That is very cool. And that's the reason why they're here on our list, and that's great. And they represent one of our girls, Julian Alfred, right? So loving Puma right now. And Adidas, amazing that they have the best shoe in the world, but if you can't get your hands on it, then,
What's
if it's
the
hard
point?
if it's hard to get, then what's the point? If I can't use it, so, amazing, but if I can't use it, it makes it a tricky decision for me. On, very cool, but I'm going to go with Asics. Yes, the innovation with On was awesome. The new type of shoe that Michael has tried out, it seems incredible. The spider web, the robotic arm, making the shoe in 6 minutes, very cool. But Asics, I just feel like if you can count on them, you can rely on them. Like you're saying, they have a shoe for everything. They have a shoe for everyone. They even have 2 shoes for a specific purpose. I would say let's go with the brand that has been the most reliable, that we can count on, and that it's been like consistency and excellence over the entire year with everything they've done, not just kind of a one-hit wonder kind of deal. So that's why I'm going to go with Asics instead of the other brands this year. Is that a good reason?
That's a great reason. And
Yeah, Michael, let's see you follow that up.
Yeah. I'm just like, maybe I should change my choice here. I could be swayed by Asics because you're right. Asics is they're just a solid running brand. It's just like they're doing something for everyone in running. Maybe not trail as much, but on the roads for the vast majority of people, top to bottom, you could just do like the full fleet of Asics shoes and be really happy and like train a whole season and be really happy and have all the levers to pull in those moments, right? Long run, easy run, workout, race day. You got it all checked off and they're all really solid. I got to go with On. And I can't believe I'm going with On because like I'm not in love with On's cloud tech for a midsole. Not in love with it, but I think I choose to believe that this technology that they're developing with the robot is the future. Maybe I don't see I think it's a bridge too far to have like this vision of like every running retailer is going to have an On robot weaving you a bespoke pair of shoes on demand. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think what could happen is you could put in an order, scan your foot with some sort of even mobile technology to scan a 3D scan of your foot from your phone, send it to them, and then a week later, 2 weeks later, you get, FedEx, UPS, whatever to you, a pair of shoes that are perfect for your foot and that also have a really killer midsole technology for race day. So I'm swayed by this one shoe that they've developed and this overall technology and the place they're taking it, because like with Nike, like with the advent of the super shoe, the carbon plate, the Zoom X foam in 2017, they just pushed everyone into the future and everyone has had to follow suit in order to compete. I think maybe from a development standpoint, from what can be done for you, the runner, the individual with your foot, with your shoe, On is saying everyone else is going to maybe have to do this to compete with us in the future. I choose to believe that that's going to be what's going to happen, and that's the reason why I think they're the brand of the year. Alex, tell me why I'm wrong.
On's a great pick because one thing you did mention too, and I think people forget about On, is they have so many different models of shoes. Like, go inside an On store and count them. They might have more running specific shoes than the majority of other brands, maybe every other brand, which is cool, right? You have a shoe for everybody. I agree with you, Michael, that this shoe is propelling running into the future. However, we're not there yet. And if it's the shoe of 2024, I can't go with that. On was not the must-have brand of the year in 2024 for me. In fact, if you asked me, if you told me, you can only run in one brand this year. Your races, your workouts, your easy runs.
Oh,
you see where I'm going with this?
Okay, yeah.
See where I'm going with this?
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair.
I would have to pick Asics.
Yes,
right?
You're right. You're right.
Asics is my brand of the year because of that. They have a shoe for everyone. Not to mention that this year, given the fact that, we've been on YouTube, given the fact that running is becoming more popular, I've had a record number of people ask me about running. Friends who are getting into running for the first time, and they're asking about shoes. And I nudge them towards Asics, towards the Nimbus, towards the Nova Blast, because it's a safe shoe. Also, it's from feedback from people who say, I've tried a Hoka and it's kind of too big. I've tried On, they feel too hard. I don't know what else and I don't hear these complaints from Asics. And so I tend to think that it's the shoe of the year. They have a shoe for everyone. They're everywhere. I would have been totally fine wearing only Asics all year. And had it not been for the Pro Evo 1 at the end, I almost did that for my races as well. So to me, it's Asics. You're welcome, Katelyn. I didn't argue with you.
Didn't argue today.
I mean, they were a close second for me, and you guys are totally right. Overall brand of the year. Thinking about our audience, thinking about the everyday runner out there, Asics has got it all. They've got something for everybody, and I think for most people, an Asics shoe is going to feel really good, especially given what the shoe is designed for. So, okay, congratulations,
we convinced him.
Asics.
We did.
You are the brand of the year 2024. All right. Final award of this, our Gear of the Year 2024 pod. Best overall shoe 2024. This is the nebulous, complicated, opaque award. How do you choose the best shoe? Not every shoe is for everyone, but I think we can agree it's like the most, it's doing the most, it's the most interesting, it's pushing things forward, it's for the most number of people, it's the most interesting shoe of the year. Is that the best way of categorizing it?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so who are our finalists quickly, and then we'll give out the hardware.
Quickly, Adidas Adios Pro Evo 1, the fastest shoe in the world.
Yep.
Nike Alpha Fly 3, perhaps the most ubiquitous racing shoe in the world. And the Asics Super Blast 2, the most versatile running shoe in the world. Am I giving my pick? You guys giving your pick first? Who's going first?
Again, this is really tough.
This is tough.
It's picking children.
It is picking children. Let me go first. I went last this time.
Okay.
My pick is to the Super Blast 2. And the one caveat is this: most innovative, coolest. All of it actually trends towards a shoe that is not even on this list, and that's the On shoe. That's the robot shoe. But available to the most number of people. The Alpha Fly 3 was impossible to get for the first half of the year. That changed in the last few months. It's nice that most people can find it. Sometimes it's even on sale. The Pro Evo 1, forget about it. People can't access the thing.
Right.
The Super Blast 2, to me, is innovative, is versatile, is comfortable, and is widely
accessible,
available.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although it did sell out when it came out, which is a good.
Oh, did it?
Which
Yeah.
is I guess telling of how desirable it is. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
How good it is for how many people, for so many people. Katelyn, what you got?
Alex and I are on the same wavelength today. I'm
getting picked on.
You're gonna. No, you're not getting picked on. If we had maybe chosen the Vaporfly, which is one of the shoes I love for Nike, but since it's the Alpha Fly on the list, it's not the one for me. I've tried it and it's not the one for me. And since the Adidas Adios Pro, we've already said can't even get my hands on, I'm absolutely going with the Super Blast. I'm with you, Alex.
You could make a case for the Vaporfly if that's your.
I love the Vaporfly.
Yeah.
They were really a great shoe that I ran my marathon in this year, and I had I don't know, a great race. I love the responsiveness of those shoes. I love that they're not so bulky like the Alpha Fly. So I know it's not on our list, but if I had to mention my favorite shoe this year for road running, it would definitely be that. But if I'm sticking to the list, I'm going with Asics.
I think I know what you're going to pick.
I think I know too. I could bet on
Evo,
it.
the
$10.
Pro Evo is the fastest,
Yep.
greatest, most interesting,
Yep.
most bleeding edge shoe that's in existence right now. I think. Besides maybe the On. I don't even remember the name of it.
Yes.
That's how problematic. Like it's the light. What is
Cloud Boom Strike
Strike
LS.
LS.
Thank you. The LS, yes. Besides that shoe, I think the Adidas Pro Evo is the most compelling, most interesting, most alluring. Maybe it's just because I don't have it and I want it so badly that I think it's the shoe of the year. But it's also not fair for me to give out an award for shoe of the year if I have never actually run in the shoe before. You know, you have. I have not. So I just want it so badly. So guys,
Are you listening, Adidas?
I defer. Yes. Adidas.
Listen.
I'm here. I love your brand. I've been running in the Adios for going on 15 years now. So many marathons.
Wow. Okay.
Pre-Super
Alex
Shoe.
was
They
in
were my
kindergarten.
I was in
Al-
kindergarten.
Alex was a flicker in his parents' eye when I was putting on the Adios and smashing my feet into the ground running marathons. Pre-Super Shoe marathon PB should be more of a thing, by the way. Anyway, just
People
putting
don't
that out
talk
there.
about it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, they don't talk about
Yeah.
it because it's not as fast as their Super Shoe marathon.
Yeah.
Okay. But I defer to you. I defer to both of you. The Super Blast 2 is a killer shoe. It's a great shoe. It's a versatile shoe. It's a desirable shoe. It's a shoe for the people. Give the people what they want. The Asics Super Blast 2 Marathon Handbook Shoe of the Year, 2024.
Congratulations, Asics.
Well
Well
deserved.
Good
done.
job with
Asics
us.
is like,
Yeah.
they are the
They're the winners of today.
They are the Parasite, the Titanic. What's another like Oscar sweep? The English Patient. This is dating us now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah. They are the 12 Oscar winning the Lord of the Rings, whichever one that was the one that won the. Let's end this analogy right now. Okay, guys. So to wrap things up. Those were our shoes of the year, our gear of the year. Obviously, if you have a different opinion, let us know in the comments.
Tell us.
What you think. We want to know what people think the shoe of the year was, the brand of the year. It's super cool. I want to know what people think about this. TRE, the running event, Austin.
Wish us luck on our race.
Yeah. Our
Please.
4x400 relay that we're going to do tomorrow night.
No hamstring injuries. No losses.
By the time you watch or listen to this, we'll have finished that.
Well, I've done it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to slip into the show notes what each person's 400-meter split was.
Oh, come on, guys. Let's.
You're like, how about no?
How about let's not do that?
And make sure to watch the vlog that we will come out with a TRE Austin vlog of our experience as a team together for the first time. That will include the agony and the ecstasy of running the 4x400 meters.
Oh my God.
If you don't subscribe to our newsletter, please do so.
Yes.
150,000 plus people and increasing 5 days a week, new content, including when our podcast comes out, when Alex's new shoe reviews come out, and other content that's on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Got new stuff coming out every single week, including video versions of this podcast. If you don't already subscribe to this podcast, please do so.
Please do.
Give us a like, share a review. We'd love to hear your feedback. It helps us connect with more people like you that are listening and watching this podcast. Guys, we did it. First live and in-person podcast. I loved it.
This was fun.
This was really fun.
I guess I have to move to Toronto.
Oh, it was worth the setup. Shout
Your
out to
husband. Big life change.
Life change.
Costa Rica to Toronto.
We're
It's gonna
going
happen.
to Canada.
yes.
We
yeah.
can all move to Madrid with Thomas.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Koske,
Yeah.
who's been on the
Yeah.
decks doing the production for this podcast.
Sweating bullets.
It's
Just
like
under the sun.
It's like 80 degrees. We decided to do this outside. We're poolside. We could just go take a dip after this. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining me today. This has been great.
This has been awesome.
Until next week. I don't even know what we're doing next week.
We'll cross that bridge when we
get
there.
to it. Yeah. But definitely keep an eye on our YouTube channel because you are about to do a serious blitz of first look shoes. If you want to know what's coming out in 2025 from Asics, New Balance, Adidas, Nike, everybody Brooks, Saucony, all of these brands, we're going to have first look reviews and a whole bunch more from the running event coming up in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So subscribe to our YouTube channel for that. And until next week, thanks so much for watching and listening.